Hello friends and fellow gamers, it's MKxJUMP here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at this week's event for Idle Heroes. We have a brand new forest hero called Gloria, and of course we have heroic summons. There's a bunch of stuff to take a look at this week, so let's get straight into it, but before we do, I'd love to give a shout out to L. Bailey and Magnus, who have decided to back me on Patreon. If you want to be like them and support the content I make here financially, you can find a link down below in the description or up there in the top corner of the screen, which will give you all the details you need to know to help the content I produce here. Anyway guys, enough of that, let's go check out this week's event. This week we have a heroic summons event, and that means every single day for logging in you'll get yourself 3 heroic summon scrolls. So that's 21 heroic summon scrolls across the entire week that you can use to claim rewards for this event. However, should you use your scrolls now or should you save? Well, there's a few things we need to consider. So let's go take a look at this week's event. First of all, the Palace of Eternity is here, so it's an opportunity for you to use your Palace crystals to replace any of the heroes you see here to get a copy of the new hero. Now, you can pop in any hero you like from that list, and it's going to cost you 10 crystals to get the brand new hero, Gloria. Is it worth it though? Is Gloria any good? Well, I'll be taking a brief look at her towards the end of the video, so make sure you stay tuned. To get these crystals though, you're going to need to go in the Palace of Crystal, and you'll get 5 crystals every time you do 400 heroic summons this event. And if you go across to the value packages, if you spend $100, you'll get yourself the Palace Key. And the Palace Key will unlock the lower stages in the Palace of Crystal, which means you get an additional 15 of these Eternal Crystals every time you do 400 summons. So be warned, it's going to cost a lot of money if you want these Eternal Crystals. Every stage, 1 key will unlock a thing below it. So 400, you're going to need 1 key to get these 15 down here. 800, you're going to need another key, and it can get very expensive very quickly if you're after these Eternal Crystals. These Eternal Crystals don't have to be used now though, you can use them in a future event to pick up a different hero. So if you aren't interested in Gloria, you can use these crystals later on to pick up a different hero. Perhaps even a brand new Light and Dark hero that's coming out in the next Heroic Summons event for Anniversary. So that's worth bearing in mind. Also, be sure that you go and do the Sky Labyrinth if you haven't already. Make sure you get this cleared and out the way. Asmodel is generally better for free-to-play users. Halora is good for people that want to spend. So just kind of weigh it up for yourselves, have some fun, and hopefully you can get some decent rewards in there. Almost Workshop continues over from last week, and so does Glorious Boost, so if you haven't had a chance to pick up any of these artifacts here, now might be a good chance to, and the best one here for most people is going to be Punisher of Immortal, because you need 2 splendid ones to push very far in the void, and it's arguably better than all the other ones here, and as well, just Punisher of Immortal is really worth getting to Splendid, because there's a lot of heroes it works on in very many PvE game modes. So if you don't already have a Splendid Punisher of Immortal, it's definitely worth your relics in my opinion. The value packages for this week are pretty standard. It's 150 scrolls and 5,000 gems if you want to spend $100, as well as this Palace Key that I mentioned earlier, and it will scale down depending on how much you're prepared to spend, giving you a different amount of scrolls and gems depending on the cost. So that's pretty standard, that's normal and as expected. So if you guys want to go and buy some things, maybe you want to use those scrolls either now or in a future event, that's totally okay. Although it is a wee bit expensive, but it's definitely the best value for money way probably to purchase scrolls with straight up cash, so that's not too bad. As well, you can pick up the Puppet package, which is 150 Heroic Summon Scrolls, 5,000 gems, and a 9-star puppet. Should you buy this? I don't want to recommend it, honestly. It's a 9-star puppet, alright, it's food, that's nice, but it's $100. $100 just to get a puppet and what you'd normally get from an $100 package here. If you were going to spend, then sure, but for most people, this isn't worth it. For nearly everyone, this isn't worth it. And some people might be a bit frustrated about that. They might be like, oh, but I wanted to buy something cool. Look on the bright side. You don't have to have an urge to spend your money this event. You don't need a 9-star puppet, not for $100 anyway. So just let it slide. You were able to get a 9-star puppet from the Sky Labyrinth with only spending like $60 at most. I only spent, I think, $50 to get my 9-star puppet. So yeah, way too expensive in my opinion. The only difference, I guess, is that you do get a load of Heroic Summon Scrolls and a load of gems, so maybe that's worth it to you, but really, for me, I wouldn't go buying this. The hero lottery's here as well. That means every time you get a copy of Gloria, you're going to get yourselves 3-star armor. Is this good? Well, I mean, it's going to help out early players, and you can get rid of it for the blacksmith event that's going to come next week, so I guess there's a use for that. And the summon prizes, the real big thing for you guys. This is where we get our rewards. This is the main meat and potatoes of the event. For the first 50 summons, you're going to get yourself 3 Prophet Orbs and 10 Heroic Summon Scrolls. If you do 100 in total, you're going to get another 3 Prophet Orbs and another 10 Heroic Summon Scrolls. And if you get to 200, you're going to get 5 Prophet Orbs, 10 Heroic Summon Scrolls, and a copy of Emily. For 300, you're going to get 5 Prophet Orbs, 5 Soul Symbols, and a Core of Transcendence. Now, this is very interesting. We've been doing a lot of account reviewing on the channel recently, and Soul Symbols are important if you've made mistakes, because you use these to regress or replace heroes. So for a lot of you, doing 300 scrolls to get this is worth it, and if you don't have 300 scrolls and you need to regress or replace someone, save those scrolls for another Heroic Summons event, where you can then get the soul symbols in the future. It's one of the most important things for a lot of people that make mistakes, just to get these without having to spend a ton of money. So in my opinion, these are very important for a lot of you out there. Of course, there's other stuff this event too, though. For getting to 400 summons, you're going to get yourself a 5-star copy of Gloria, and for 500 summons, you're going to get 15 Glorious Relics and another Core of Transcendence, which you can use in the Void, and you can go round this up to 4 times. So it's a good way of you getting Gloria copies if you wanted to build her, but again, whether she's any good is something we'll discuss at the end of the video. The Heroic Exchange event is the final main thing of this event, and it's 6,000 altar coins to get yourself a copy of Inosuke or a copy of Flora. You can buy both, and bear in mind you can only buy them once, and resetting this will not reset these. So it is a one-time chance to pick up Inosuke or Flora. For most people, this probably isn't that great. They're not fantastic endgame heroes. Inosuke isn't a great hero. He's overhyped in my opinion. Is he a good first E5? Yes, but do most early game players have 6,000 altar coins? Not really. If you do, and you're building Inosuke as your first E5, and you need those maybe final 1 or 2 copies, well, there you go. There's an Inosuke. But do you need to be buying this? Not really. Not in my opinion. But I say that. I've been skipping a lot of these altar events for some time now, and I've even been doing some of them, and I have 29,000 altar stones. I'm just waiting for something good. And maybe it's worth just me picking up these. Unlikely, though. I think something good's going to come in the future, especially at Anniversary. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about before we pushed on forwards. A lot of you might be wondering, should I use my scrolls now? Well, Anniversary is now just a month away. The middle of June marks the anniversary of Idle Heroes, and the anniversary is when they traditionally give us the biggest event of the year, with the best rewards you can get from your scrolls. And DH Games are definitely trying to please players, and they understand that I guess Chinese New Year was nice for rewards, but the hero was a flop. And Christmas, interesting hero, didn't really, do too much in the meta though. And we've ended up with what was a bit of a disappointing Christmas event. So if DH Games listen to feedback, I imagine Anniversary is going to be very, very good, and it's going to give us some really good heroes. So in my opinion, saving your scrolls is probably the best thing to do. As well, if we go and take a look at Gloria, she isn't a hero that's jumping out to us as absolutely fantastic. Now, there are a few meta changes coming to the game in the future, so Gloria might actually be good after the changes that are coming. More details on that will follow, so be sure to hit the subscribe button for when those updates land. And yeah, let's just take a look at her skills. So first of all, HP boost, attack boost, control immunity, and speed. Well, the speed doesn't shock me. She's 1188. She's not even that quick. Generally, what's considered quick in this game is 1218 or faster. She's not coming in at that speed. So hopefully she could do some things that don't rely on her being quick. In addition, control immunity, very nice. This is a nice thing you want on most of your good heroes, but there's no sign of crit, there's no dodge, there's nothing truly exceptional that's jumping out to me here. She's just very standard. So let's look at her basic attack. Well, it's going to target the enemy with the highest crit, so that's one enemy, dealing not a lot of damage. 360% of attack for a single target isn't much, and there's no added on bonus. It's a very short basic, in fact. The main thing of this is it's just going to reduce the target's crit by 20% for 2 rounds. Not that impressive. Not that impressive at all. And it's one enemy. It's not even like a mass debuff. It's just one enemy. Not impressive. So let's look at this final passive then. Again, exceptionally short. In fact, the effect it does is longer than the skill itself. Whenever an ally takes damage from basic attacks or active skills, she'll inflict a magic bubble, which will do a measly 340% of attack, but it is a mark, so it does cut through a few things like unbending will shields, and that's going to be on 3 random enemies. And this is whenever an ally takes damage, so she's just throwing these things out there. And in fact, the key thing about this ability is not the damage it deals, it's actually this. It has a 25% chance to stun, which means if you give her a splendid Ruyi Scepter, which will massively boost her control abilities, she's going to be stunning a lot of people. And that's probably her use as a hero. She is just a CC hero that's just chucking out stuns. And I like this actually for the Forest faction, because the Forest faction don't have that many CC heroes outside of Oberon and maybe Flora, because they can twine. But this is a very passive way of CCing. She doesn't need to use an active skill or a basic skill to do this. She just throws out these bubbles, waits for them to get popped by your teammates or herself, and then that's going to stun your opponents. And that can be very irritating if you give her a splendid Ruyi Scepter. Now, unfortunately, she doesn't have any damage reduction on her build, so with a splendid Ruyi Scepter, she might be a bit squishy. So in that case, you probably want to build a HP with a splendid Ruyi Scepter and just let her sit there and become literally just a pure CC unit. Now, is stun and stun alone gonna be good for a hero? It's difficult to say. It's really hard to decide on whether a hero makes your lineup in the current meta. Already, a lot of people are prioritizing Transcendence heroes. For CC, they're using people like Sherlock. For Disruption, we've got people like Carry. Is it worth using Gloria? In fact, the thing that makes Sherlock so outstanding isn't even his CC, it's his health swap. All Gloria does is stun. These bubbles are just a little bit of extra damage. Her active skill, 600 damage to 4 enemies, not even that high, reduces their attack by only 14%. Alright, okay, I guess that's nice. The attack reduction plus the bubbles means it's going to kind of muck with Purify a little bit, but there's going to be some changes to that coming in the future. And 1200% of attack. And it's a mark, it can't crit, so it just goes out there. Again, the main thing about this bubble, 25% chance to stun. So Gloria to me just seems like a glorified stun bot that's going to help people in Seal Land. Is this going to be amazing in the PvP meta? Not really. Is it going to be helpful in the Void? Well, that remains to be seen. She's just a hero that has an interesting ability we've not seen for the Forest faction before. And that means, in my opinion, she's not going to be game-breakingly powerful. She's just cute and can do some cool things that could help your account in various game modes. But for most Whales endgame players or whatever, she's not really a hero that's going to be standing out to you. And she's definitely not a good first E5. She has no inbuilt healing, so I don't see her being a very, very good hero as a solo carry early on, which is often something we want from a lot of these heroes. So is she going to be a priority on my build list? Not really. So that's my thoughts on this week's event and the brand new hero. First impressions aren't too great. Let's see if next week's event can change my mind. It's Imp's Adventure! Well, can't go wrong with that. One of the best events, gives a lot of great rewards. I love Imp's Adventure, rolling dice is good fun, so yeah, excited for this. And the Shelter mission is weird. Look at this. We have Sherlock, very, very fun hero. Jorah, the new Transcendence hero. Olivia, again, a very fun hero that can help you in PvE. And we have Nakia, a very underrated hero that deals a lot of damage, but is unfortunately exceptionally squishy. And then Aspen and Ada. This is the first time I've ever seen Ada in Shelter. And I know there's a lot of you, again, from reviewing your accounts, that are really in need of Ada copies to finish off some Adas you may have built to 9-star and only have 1 extra copy, so you can't get them to 10-star. Or maybe you've got an E4 Ada and you want to get it to E5. Ada is very cool. Is she needed? Not really. Is she going to help your account? Not that much. But she's a fun hero. It just shows how the meta has changed. I remember when Aspen and Ada came out, and between them they broke the game. Aspen was amazing in the brief period that he was out and Ada wasn't, and then when Ada came out, she destroyed the meta. If you didn't have an Ada, you sucked. But now they're giving her away in Shelter Mission next week, which I find very shocking, but also not that shocking at all. So that's very fascinating. And Grador's Blessing is back, so that's cute too. Let me know what you think about this week's event. Let me know if you're excited for what's coming in the future. Or maybe you're going to see this as a bit of a snooze. Maybe you're saving for Anniversary, and that's probably the best thing you guys can do. I'm certainly going to save a lot of my resources for Anniversary, and I'm very excited for Anniversary. And I'm not going to spend any money this event either, because again, I want to save some of my money. for Anniversary as well. So if you were thinking about buying that puppet package, maybe it's just better to spend that $100 in Anniversary when that comes a little later on. So in my opinion, guys, use the next month just to save your cash, save your resources, and wait for the big stuff that's coming in the future. May is generally quite quiet for Idle Heroes, and I'm telling you, June is going to be a big one. So guys, get hyped for that, and until then, be sure to subscribe, and happy idling.